Good morning. It is good to be with you today on this Friday morning. Judy Ebersol is with us on the piano this morning, and she played Sweet Hour of Prayer and Gentle Shepherd, Come and Lead Us. I am Chaplain Robert Kennedy, and this morning we're going to look at the scripture from Luke 18. I don't know if you've ever had a situation where you received a bill, most likely it was from a medical procedure, and you knew that something was wrong with that, or the insurance didn't cover it, or something like that. We had a couple friends who had this experience, and one of them, Audrey's, the teacher she was under for that year. She was trying to reach her insurance company, and it was so frustrating that every chance she got, she called that insurance company to get a hold of them. She was persistent in that struggle to get a hold of them. She knew that bill was coming due and that something was wrong. And so she took every opportunity in the school day to make those calls. We also had a friend who was pregnant, and she received a bill for a blood work, and she knew it should be covered. This lady persisted as well in figuring out what went wrong, why the insurance company didn't cover this when she knew it should be covered. And she persisted, and she finally received the justice that she was due. Many of us deal with struggles that take time, energy, maybe boldness and persistence to conquer. In Luke 18, Jesus tells this interesting parable of the struggle of a widow. Some might call her nagging, but she was persistent for sure, as she brought her case to a judge. And it wasn't just any judge, but one who really didn't care for anything except for himself. You've probably heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, in this story, the widow is that squeaky wheel. Let me just read this passage from Luke 18, 1-8. Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and never give up. He said, in a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with a plea. Grant me justice against my adversary. For some time he refused, but finally he said, even though I don't fear God and care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice, so that she won't eventually come and attack me. And the Lord said, listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. This woman obviously had someone who had done her wrong. the widow, she was a vulnerable citizen in that society, and she probably wasn't looked on very highly to some. And she needed every advantage that she could get in this case. And so she decided to take it to court. She had to get up early every morning, preparing her case to present to the judge, maybe even standing in long lines before she got to see him. So she waits patiently her turn, and when her name is called, she enters the room, and she demands justice against her adversary. Well, immediately the judge dismisses her and sends her on her way. He doesn't care, as we read, about people, and he doesn't fear God. He makes decisions the way he wants to make them. And this widow, however, was not deterred. She comes back day after day. It doesn't say how many days this happened, but enough days that the judge finally realized that she was not going away. And he gives her justice. She's bold and persistent. Well, Jesus finishes up the parable by saying that the judge who didn't care about anyone finally gave the woman justice. How much more will God pay attention to his children's persistent cries? Jesus wants boldness and persistence in our prayers. How easy is it to forget to pray for that person or that situation, even if the issues in our own family, if it's issues in our own family or personal lives. And now we are joining to pray for peace in the land of Israel and Palestine. And you're welcome to come to the chapel over noon times to pray for that situation. There's an article in the Mennonite magazine, well, this was some time ago, that told a story of a persistent prayer. Jeannie, an American, was hosted by a family in Taiwan on a brief trip. The daughter of the host family shared her struggles to Jeannie after she being accepted by her family after receiving Jesus as a teen. The daughter asked Jeannie to pray that her family may come to know Jesus as well. Through the years, Jeannie prayed for the Taiwanese family who touched her heart. Years later, the mother accepted Jesus and made the bold step to destroy her God shelf. This is a shelf that contains names of ancestors who are now ghosts and must be appeased, and gods who are worshipped in exchange for protection, assisting, or blessing, money being seen as the most important blessing. Well, Jeannie, this American woman, was delighted to hear about the turn of events for this family. At times, we may feel like our prayers are words in the wind, even though we may never see or hear of that answer. We believe God is listening, that God cares, and he wants justice for his children. As I was thinking about prayer and reading a commentary, it made this, it said this about prayer. Sometimes prayer may seem like an old spiritual practice. If God is all-knowing, sovereign, and all-caring, then why bother with prayer? This commentary went on to say the answer to the dilemma of prayer is not that it's not intended to do something for God. Let me say that again. That the dilemma of prayer is that it is not intended to do something for God, but for us. It is one of the mechanisms of the relationship that God gives to his children to be in touch with him. God may not need our prayers, but we do. We need our prayers. Jesus was clear about several desires in this parable. He desires our persistence, our boldness, and our faithfulness. As we go to prayer, may these words, persistence, boldness, and faithfulness, come to mind. There's a song that Ken Medema wrote, and it's in our blue hymnal. It's called, "Lord, Listen to Your Children Praying." I'm going to read the refrain, and then Judy is going to play it for us. Lord, listen to your children praying. Lord, send your Spirit in this place. Lord, listen to your children praying. Send us love, send us power, send us grace.